Welcome back, you beautiful people. Biking's really hard, isn't it?
It is, isn't it? But this is GMBN's top bike handling skills.
First up, the track stand. It's really good to get the balance, especially when it comes to low speed technical sections out there on the trail. Develop the connection between you and your bike. Right, I've got 3 perfect tips to help you master the track stand. First off, you want to turn the bars to the most comfortable way you want to be balancing on the bike. For me, I like to go to the right. Now, you want to find a nice flat level ground to help you, but even better is using a slight incline. Now, you want to feather the brakes. You want to keep your feet quite level on the pedal, so 9 o'clock, 3 o'clock, not 12 o'clock, 6 o'clock, because that's not going to give you enough balance. You want to keep them quite level. But also, when it comes to the incline, you want to rock the bike slightly, back and forth, back and forth. Look ahead, with just a little bit in front of you, not at your tires, because that's moving. You want to fixate on something that is stationary. Do that, practice it, and you'll be nailing the track stand.
The Endo is great for learning how to use your front brake and how much you can use it without going over the bars, plus it leads on to loads of other skills. It's a really simple thing to do. You need to just apply your front brake quite firmly with your weight on the bars, and that's going to start picking up the back wheel. Obviously, go steady to begin with, make sure you're somewhere grippy, and if your front wheel slides, it's because you've probably grabbed too hard, too quick, or you haven't got enough weight on that front wheel. You can cheat this a little bit by bringing your feet up a little bit into the Endo to bring the back wheel up higher without having to rely on grabbing more front brake. If you feel like your rear wheel is coming up too high, then just let off the front brake and it's going to drop the back wheel straight back down. Adding a turn to your Endo is great for getting around really tight switchbacks or changing direction really quickly. Plus, it's really good for your slow speed bike control and balance. To do this, you need to carve into your Endo and then turn your hips and your feet to push the back wheel of the bike out. You want to go easy with this and go slowly. If you're going too quick and rolling and you drop the back wheel down sideways fast, you're in the risky territory of bending your back wheel. So nice and slow, and make sure you either land with the rear brake on slightly or a bit of pressure on your pedals so you don't start rolling backwards too much. Everyone will have a preferred direction, but make sure you try it both ways.
Oh. Right, this next one is the manual. Benefits of it, well, it helps smooth out the trail. And when it comes to using the manual, it's the first step to doing a bunny hop. But it can also get you over some sticky situations, plus it makes you look a little bit more sophisticated out there on the trail. Now, here's a few tips on how to do so. Always cover the rear brake. Arms should be fairly straight. Legs need to be a bit bent. This will allow you to pump and get the front end up if it starts to drop. Your body weight acts as a counterbalance to your front wheel and to the rest of the bike. If your front wheel is low, you need to be lower and further back. If your front wheel is high, you need to be higher and closer to the center of the bike. When it comes to the manual, you've started, you've hacked it, you've nailed it, now you can mess around with it. Watch this. Oh, it's scary, isn't it?
Learning how to pump your bike, I think, is the #1 skill when it comes to being faster and smoother on a mountain bike. And luckily, it's actually a really easy one to practice and get the hang of as well. Lots of people have access to things like BMX tracks and pump tracks, and they're probably the best place to learn because they're small and they're simple and you can get a feel for it straight away because you can repeat it over and over. But this is a great example on the trail where I've got a corner and then I've got this nice little downslope and then the trail flattens out. And if you get your pump right here at the right time, you'll actually gain speed here without having to do any pedaling. It's not quite free speed because you're using your muscles to move the bike around, but it is smoother because you don't have to throw your weight around, risk catching your pedals on the floor. And when you can find lots of these different things on the trails, then you can go really fast as well. So what you need to do is exaggerate what's already happening. If you rolled down here and did nothing, in the bottom of this compression, your bike's going to compress, you're going to squash in. So what you need to do is exaggerate that squash. And if you move it to the back of the bike slightly, over the rear wheel, get the timing right, and you will feel that extra bit of momentum.
The bunny hop, a super essential skill when it comes to riding your mountain bike out there on the trail. Well, the benefits of it can help you clear obstacles, and also it's one of the first steps to getting some air, jumping your mountain bike out there. Now here's a few tips on how to do the bunny hop. Really exaggerate the movements to get the feeling on how to gain more height. Preload properly will help you get higher, so really compress down, then spring up with the spring to help you generate lift. Scoop on the pedals to lift the rear wheel. As you reach the top of your bunny hop, use your arms to move the bars up and forward out in front of you. Learning the bunny hop on flat pedals will give you the correct technique on how to do the bunny hop. When it comes to doing it with clipless pedals, make sure you learn to curl your feet on your pedals, because if you rely on your clipless pedals, it is bad technique. It can bite you in the bum. So learn the basics first on flat pedals.
Wheelies are a great fun little skill that can also be used for technical climbs and great for learning the balance point on your bike. Find yourself a nice gentle uphill and get your bike into fairly easy gear. I like to be in sort of the top third on my cassette. Then the trick of this is powering in and leaning back at the same time to lift the front wheel. You've got to cover the rear brakes. If the front wheel comes up too high, you just slam that rear brake and it drops the front wheel down. I like to actually use my weaker foot, so I ride left foot forward, and actually as my right foot comes up and over, that's when I start the wheelie. So I power in, lean back, and bars come back with me. So you've got to sit into your wheelie. If you try and counter it, if you get a bit too scared, a lot of people actually kind of bring themselves forward, and that just drops the front wheel. So you've got to sit with the bike and sit back with it as the front wheel rises. Like I say, back brake is your safety mechanism. Now, I think this is one of the harder cornering skills to get a hang of both ways as well, and that's leaning the bike over in the turn.
Yeah, and when you lean the bike over, you've got to trust in the grip that you've got with your tyres. It's taken me years to trust my tyres.
So the idea is, and it's not useful in every single turn, but flat turns this it is, you try and keep your weight to the outside of the bike and angle the bike over beneath you, so your hips go to the outside of the saddle, outside elbow goes up, bike leans in. And the great thing, kind of like Blake says, is I can do that to get the bike cornering hard, and if I do slide halfway around, or maybe the corner straightens up, that's when you can pick the bike up and it straightens up, gets back in the sort of meat of the grip, and away you go. It's difficult to do. Most people do it better one way than the other, so try and get in the hang, do it on the flat, practice it. So if you turn in and you lean the bike over, you should be able to see the side of your bike.
Yeah, and all the grip depends on the terrain you're riding, because some can be super grippy and some very slippery.
That's it, and you can throw it in and lean it over where you've got all that grip, and then pick it back up where you come into the loose stuff.
So there we have it, a few tips to master to help you become a better rider out there on the trail.
And we've got a good trail to finish on. We're in Santa Coloma de Farners, near Girona. What a place.
What a place. The sun's going down. We've still got the trail to finish, but thank you very much for watching. Let us know in the comments down below if you love this video, and we'll see you next time. See ya. I'll follow you, Neil. Cup of tea, mate.